Chapter-19. Towns, Traders and Craftsmen. Let's learn. Types of towns: Hampi, Masulipattanam, Surat, trades and craftsmen. Various dynasties ruled in different parts of the country during the medieval period, and the rule was more stable as compared to the ancient period. Especially the Cholas, the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals provided very stable governance and systemized administration, which resulted in peace and prosperity, growth of trade and commerce, and a general agglomeration of population around centers of craft and manufacturing trades. This was the reason for the growth of large number of towns during this period. Some large villages grew into towns, and some towns were founded by the Delhi sultans and the rulers of provincial kingdoms for trade and commerce. Sources: the land revenue records of different rulers and the travel accounts by travelers such as Duarte Barbosa and Ralph Fitch are some of the sources that tell us about the emergence of towns in medieval India. The monuments also reveal to us the founding and importance of a town. The Mughal official documents also reveal a lot about the land grants and the revenue system of that period, which enlist both old and new towns. Info Hive: Indian spices attracted the British to India. Towns. The growth of towns was due to many factors such as social, religious, political, economic, military, etc. Towns could be classified on the basis of the primary function they performed. The chief types of towns were capital or court towns, trade towns, pilgrimage towns, temple towns, craft towns, port towns, etc. Some towns such as Hampi were known for more than one function. Hampi was a major trading center for spices and cotton. It was also famous for its great temples, and it was the capital city of the Vijayanagar Empire. Hence, it was a cultural, political, and also a commercial town. Capital or court towns were set up by a ruler keeping many factors in mind, such as fertility of the land, development of infrastructure and facilities, accessibility, transport, natural cover from enemy, prosperity of the people, etc. A place chosen for a capital town was such from where the administration of the whole territory could be run efficiently. For example, first Agra, then Fatehpur Sikri, and thereafter Lahore was the base of Emperor Akbar. Ralph Fitch described Fatehpur Sikri to be a bigger and more populous town than London. Delhi was made the capital by Shah Jahan during his rule and was named Shah Jahanabad. His daughter Jahanara Begum had a shopping complex built there called the Chandni Chowk, which still exists. The Grand Red Fort is across it. Temple towns. There were numerous temple towns in different parts of the country which were central to the economy and society of that particular region, as they performed a large number of functions. To cater to the needs of the temples and the pilgrims, people of different professions settled there. There were priests, garland makers, weavers, sculptors, shopkeepers, traders, musicians, dancers, and many more. Take the example of Tanjore, now Thanjavur. It was the capital of the Cholas, but was more famous for its temples. Tanjore developed into a flourishing town largely because of its temples. Some other famous temple towns were Tirupati, Somnath, Kanchipuram, Madurai and Mathura. Pilgrimage towns. A pilgrimage town develops around a place of pilgrimage for the people of one or more religions, like Banaras, Varanasi, located on the banks of the Ganga, and Mathura and Vrindavan on the banks of the Yamuna. The dargah of famous Sufi saints Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti at Ajmer and Khwaja Nizamuddin Aulia in Delhi attracted a large number of devotees from all over the country and also abroad. Brain tickler. Why did the kings not make the trade towns as their capital? The pilgrimage towns played an important place in the social interaction of the people as these towns were visited by the people belonging to different regions or countries, some of whom settled there. Craft towns. Some towns developed because craftsmen lived there who produced a particular article or specialized in a certain trade. Kings and nobles were interested in such luxury goods. For example, Bidar was famous for its beautiful bidri work. Likewise, Banaras and Kanchipuram came into prominence due to their rich embroidered saris. Hyderabad, the Golconda kingdom's capital, was a gem-cutting and trading center for jewels. Murshidabad was a major center for various types of silk fabrics. Commercial and trading towns. Sometimes the location of a town or product found in that town developed it into an important trade or port town. A trade town is a place where the traders often pass through or come to sell and buy commodities. Commercial and trading towns were of two types: inland trading towns and port towns. Kabul, now in Afghanistan, was famous for horse trade, Ajmer for camel trade, and Surat for textile trade. Ahmedabad and Qasim Bazar were known for cotton and silk textiles respectively. Hampi, Masulipatanam and Surat were the centers of domestic and international trade. Hampi is a prominent town located on the banks of river Tungabhadra in Karnataka. It was a village of religious importance before it became a part of the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire. Because of its strategic location, it had a river to one side, and the other three sides were surrounded by hills, which could be used to defend against an enemy attack. It was chosen to be the capital town by the Vijayanagar rulers. The Persian traveller Abdur Razzaq described Hampi in great detail after he visited it. Hampi was an important trade center with fertile land. In the 15th and 16th centuries, European merchants used to buy cotton and spices from the rich markets of Hampi. Hampi also traded with Persia, Arabia, Burma, now Myanmar, China and the numerous islands in the Indian Ocean. Traders from faraway lands visited Hampi from time to time to buy and sell goods. Hampi was protected by strong and well-planned fortifications. It was located around the Virupaksha temple, which is devoted to Lord Shiva, goddesses Bhuvneshwari and Pampa. Due to this temple, it was also called Virupakshapura. Hampi declined in importance, though trade continued after the decline of the Vijayanagara Empire in 1565, when its ruler was defeated by the rulers of Golconda, Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Berar and Bidar in the Battle of Talikota. Info Hive. The earlier name of Masulipatanam was Machalipatanam because its gateway was decorated with the eyes of a machli or fish. Masulipatanam. Masulipatanam was a small seaport on the banks of river Krishna in the state of Andhra Pradesh. It rose to prominence when the Satavahanas used it as an important seaport in the 14th century. Gradually it became a trading center for the French, English and Dutch traders who came during the 17th century and stayed here because it was connected to the inland centers of production. The Dutch built their fort here with permission of the Qutub Shahi Sultan. Masulipatanam was a production center of fine chintz, which was much in demand in the markets of Southeast Asia. Masulipatanam was and is still famous for its kalamkari work. The word kalam means pen and kari means work, meaning the method of painting natural and vegetable dyes onto cotton or silk fabric with a bamboo pen. These textiles were exported to the Safavid in Persia. At present, the town of Masulipatanam is a small coastal town of no significance, but is famous for its kalamkari work. Surat. Surat is situated on the banks of river Tapti in Gujarat. It was a prominent port and trading town during the medieval period. Surat has been famous for its textiles since the reign of the Mughals. Its craftsmen have been famous for their fine cotton textiles and embroidered zari work, which were in great demand in the West Asia and Europe. According to Duarte Barbosa, ships from many countries docked at Surat. The location of Surat also helped it to prosper. Ships carrying Hajj pilgrims to Makkah set sail from here. Realizing its importance, the Portuguese merchants tried to control trade in Surat. They issued kartas or passes to the local ships in the sea. These ensured safe passage to the ships and the merchants. The British made it a trade transit point from 1608. They established their factory here in 1612, and with this the Portuguese control over Surat weakened. Between the 16th and 17th century, Surat was a very prosperous town. Shivaji plundered it twice in 1664 and 1670. With the rise of Bombay Presidency after the decline of the Mughals and the arrival of the British, the importance of Surat as a major port and commercial center declined. Today, Surat is a major center of diamond and textile trade. Traders and craftsmen. There were both small and big traders in towns. The small traders operated in a limited area. The big ones owned large fleets of ships and traded in many goods. Medieval India carried overland and overseas trade with other countries. Overland trade was carried on horses. These traders generally traveled in caravans. They also formed guilds to protect their interests. The Banjaras traveled from one place to another, buying goods and selling them. They also organized the transport of goods to other places. The Silk Route was the famed trade route which was traded by a large number of traders across Asia and Europe. In the overseas trade, the merchandise was carried in large ships by the traders. The ports of the Red Sea, Persian Gulf, Southeast Asia and China were the busiest. Spices and textiles were the most traded items. Indian spices such as pepper, cinnamon and nutmeg reached Europe. This was very profitable for all the traders involved. The Indian cotton textiles in different patterns and types became popular all over the world. While the sultans and nobles wanted luxury goods such as jewelry, showpieces, gems, tools and appliances, cotton and silk textiles were produced on a large scale for the locals and for export. The Mughal emperors established workshops in which craftsmen practicing different crafts worked. They formed a large part of the town and made a variety of goods for commercial exchange. After the arrival of the British, the craftsmen suffered a lot. Recap. Trade and commerce led to the growth of the towns. The chief types of towns can be capital or court towns, trade towns, pilgrimage towns, temple towns, craft towns, port towns, etc. A capital town is a town where the court of a ruler is located. Hampi, Masulipattanam and Surat were important commercial towns. The trade and livelihood of craftsmen suffered a lot after the arrival of the British. Mathura, Somnath, Madurai, Kanchi and Tirupati were important temple towns. Banaras, Allahabad, Vrindavan, Mathura, Ajmer, etc. were centers of pilgrimage.